just the effort from it was exhausting and draining, and it's something that you kind of should look forward to. It's not necessarily going to be easy, and there are reasons that there's a problem and it's not hard to solve. Their natural reaction is just no, and then you walk away and they maybe actually would have been interested. So it's all these little signs that you can be aware of that can help for both people's dating experiences. So in terms of the dating world, the thing that I got very angry at is learning how people work out what you find attractive. So dating apps benefit from you staying in the app. The stats say that you're more likely to stay married to those that you've got a shared interest. Exactly that. Doesn't mean that just because you both play tennis, you're both a match made in heaven. And that's what we want to add, is more tips on healthy dating. And like you're saying, is, making sure you find the right one as well. It's not just all the sparks and the attraction physically. So yeah.
Oh yeah, we don't do sparks.
Welcome back to the Leading Boldly podcast. I'm Matt Clutterham.
And I'm Jenny Jarvis.
Today, we're really excited to welcome Tegan Broomfield, a management consultant turned entrepreneur who is on a mission to transform online dating. Tegan's journey is impressive. She earned a first-class degree from Cardiff University and studied internationally in France and China. For over 6 years, she's worked as a management consultant at PwC, specialising in operations and human behaviour. Her inspiration for creating Evntful Dating came from a personal experience after using dating apps. She wanted to create a platform that genuinely prioritises women's safety and encourages real connections. And that's exactly what she's done with Evntful. Evntful is designed to make dating safer, easier, and more natural. It's a fresh take on dating, one that brings people together in the real world. Tegan's passion for innovation and safety shines through in everything she does. She's not just building an app, she's leading the way in rethinking online dating for the better. And we're really excited to dive into her story right now, including all the challenges, the ups, the downs, and the background. Tegan, welcome to the Leading Boldly podcast.
Thanks very much for having me, guys. Glad to be here.
It's really exciting for us to have you on here, because I don't know if you know, but me and Matt met on online dating. So we've got a lot of history and background with this. So we're really excited to dive in and hear all about what it takes to actually build a dating app, because I know it's not straightforward at all.
Yes.
First, tell us a bit about yourself. What was young Tegan like? Did she think she was going to be building a dating app one day?
No. So a little bit about myself. So I think you did a very nice introduction there. Did it better than I think I could have. But in terms of my background, so I, as you can kind of tell, have loved traveling, loved new experiences. I think just one thing that I always got told is that I am a dog with bone. My mum likes to say I will never let things drop, which I think is very, very needed in the entrepreneurial world. So I think it's helped me a lot there. And I'm always someone that wants to see the bigger picture of things. So from a young age, I'd ask questions in class, just why is it like this, especially science. They'd be like, look, that's something you need to wait for GCSE. That's something you'll need to wait for A levels. So, and I'd be like, well, I'm not that great yet, but I don't understand what I'm doing. I don't understand that. So I think that's naturally made me question a lot of things. And going into consulting, it made me, which I guess is the role as well, is look at actually what's going wrong. So I think for me, when I approached using dating apps, and my friends, a lot of my female friends were saying that they didn't like it, I kind of was like, well, what's the bigger picture? I want to understand why that is and what's going kind of wrong, or what could help in that kind of environment.
Yeah. So what was studying in China like?
Studying in China. So, very difficult. So when I was younger, I don't think I'd ever used chopsticks before. So, when I first went to China, I was actually, because I was studying there, went to a university. It was a business course, and they had hotels on the campuses, which I thought was quite cool. Basically I then would go in the campus to look at places to eat dinner, and nowhere knife or forks. So I think for a good few weeks, I just lived off soup. And then, yeah, just then I just started to learn how to use them because it became a little bit difficult. And yeah, I think what's I found really interesting is the likes of like China or going to India, for example, for work is just culturally how different it is. And just, yeah, learning completely new things that you never would expect from cultural differences. And yeah, just I think that's helped me in terms of the business world. Just, yeah, not know what some issues are that you're going to face, and knowing that you're not always right with things. So that's definitely been helpful. But yeah, living in China was interesting.
Yeah, I've had cousins that lived there for a couple of years, actually mostly through COVID, and just hearing their feedback and what happened, it's a different world, a different culture, and it is fascinating. And I've done a lot of work around the world in various different places and worked in India, as you say, and then you go to Sweden, and the difference between India and Sweden in culture is so vast. You've got to learn, haven't you, pretty quickly, how you can fit into those spaces.
Yeah, and it was quite nice because when I was doing my international business course, we learned about some sort of subtle differences between things. But yeah, I think one of the experiences we had is we were allowed to go visit someone, a business woman, man, and kind of go to their family home, learn a bit more about what they do, what it's like to live there. And little things that I've learned is, you know, like a business card is you really, if someone passes you a business card, you've got to really look and study their business card because it's a sign of respect. Whereas I think culturally in the UK, you're so used to just, I mean, I don't think it really happens that much anymore. But when it did happen, I'd grab it, put it straight in my pocket, not think anything of it, but keep it. Whereas that would be seen as really disrespectful. And I think, I mean, I feel like it depends the household you go into, because my mum would be very particular. But things like shoes, taking your shoes off, when we went to visit his house, I just remember that was very clear. You had to have it at the door. I mean, you have to have that at my mum's, but you know, it was just something that everyone said from their visits that everyone was doing that. So, yeah, a few different differences there.
Did you try any dating overseas?
I think yes, I have. I'm trying to think. I was in relationships, I think, or when I was in China, when I was in India and stuff. And I think also when I was working as a consultant, there was literally no time left after our long days to go out dating. But I have in Indonesia, I did in Bali, I've tried dating there on apps. And I think actually it's a good question. I've not really thought about this. If I have anywhere else, I don't think I have anywhere else. Yeah, I think I had the apps in South Africa, but again, I was on projects. I think I was in offices like 7 a.m. till 8 p.m. So by the time I went home, I was ready to go straight to bed. Yeah, not very interesting.
So when you first decided to go, like, you went on the dating apps, what was your thought process before you ever thought about Evntful? What was your thought process about dating and going onto apps in the first place?
So not good. I'd had my first date I'd ever been on was a double date, and it was horrendous. So yeah, I was not excited about going and meeting up, because before I just had relationships from school, university. So the idea of meeting someone that I had no friends or mutual connections to really worried me. In comparison, you know, meeting someone on the double date was through a friend of a friend. So that didn't go well. So yeah, I just thought this is probably not going to be great. So yeah, a little bit daunting. I'm trying to think back to the very first date I'd been on from a dating app. But I think just as a female, and from what a lot of people have said and what I experienced, just using, I think I've got a bit more accustomed to it as I've got older, but you are meeting a stranger, and you're going and meeting someone as well, not just a stranger, but to a strange venue a lot of the time, to a to strange location. You don't know much about person a lot of the time. I just found you don't have a set time that maybe the date's going to finish. And then, yeah, just from my views from using dating apps, I just found it very, very odd, the idea of matching. And because I think for me as well, growing up at school, is do you like them, do you not? There's the not knowing, whereas the idea that you kind of said, oh, I like you in a way, that I found quite interesting. And I think also just the effort from it was exhausting and draining. And it's something that you kind of should look forward to in life, is dating, your love life. Whereas it began a task for me after work to go through, and was quite monotonous and monotonous to say the least. And also when you just kind of take a step back, how it's quite harsh that's kind of your view on your sort of rating people in a way. And yeah, just does not seem nice. And and then also you kind of, I see that most people I don't think want to be mean or harsh to anyone, but again, you don't know someone on the other end of the phone, so to not respond to their messages, you don't see that as rude because you don't know the person. So I think a lot of it just took kind of the what I previously found exciting about, meeting someone romantically. It kind of took that out of it really for me.
At what point in all of this did you go, oh, I'm just going to do my own app?
So I think it was after I'd gone on a date and I'd had a bad experience safety wise. And I just felt, in terms of my physical safety and things, that you realize then you're going and meeting a stranger. I think after that, I felt like I didn't want to be going on these apps anymore. And that I guess naively thought that just because you've got an app, and in my head like a business there, kind of like Uber or something, if you're getting a driver, you kind of assume that you're protected and it will be safe, but that's not at all the case. So that made me think, if I've experienced this and felt like this, how many other people are going to feel like this? And then kind of like looking into the stats, and 33% of women have been sexually assaulted by someone that they met on a dating app. That's been reported. Then it made me realize this isn't just an issue that, say, myself's going through. Loads of other females are going through this, and that's just reported. So kind of made me think I wanted to, at first, kind of the consultant in me is look into, well, why? What's going wrong? What, I'm not enjoying it, but is there like deeper rooted reasons for why I'm not enjoying it? So yeah, that's kind of why.
It's a really good point. I never really thought of it in this way before, but I guess most dating apps and online dating services are really just marketplaces for people, like the eBay of romance.
Yeah,
come on and buy a connection, but it's down to you whether it's delivered on time, and to manage it with the seller.
When I met Matt, I was really lucky, I think, in that on his profile he had put his website for his business, so I was able to send that to my best friend and say, if I don't peer, go and look here. But
isn't
like
that
this kind of, I'm going here, this is where we're meeting, this is where we're going, and this is who it is.
Yes, exactly. And I think it's and again, in that situation, is most of the time nothing bad will happen in going on dates, most of the time. So I'm not saying that apart from that horrendous stat, but most of the time, a lot, you go in and both parties are probably going in for good reasons. But the issue is, especially, there might be drinks involved, whatever, or just more generally that smallest percent of chance, you still go in with the fear and all the psychology behind it. If you go in with the fear, it's as if it's happened. So you're worried, you're anxious. That's fear of future that's not happened. So what to me, I really want to change is, how do you stop women going in and having that sense, that fear, which is basically as if something bad's already happened to them. So and it's just because you've just got to be more cautious because you are meeting strangers.
And I think, I was quite a bit older. I was in my 40s, Whereas, is your app geared more towards younger people, or do you have an age range?
Sure. So initially, our kind of target audience is sort of Gen Zs, millennials, only because my view is that dating apps, the largest audience that use dating apps is that age range. And I kind of want to make sure that my target audience are those that aren't happy with how dating apps are at the moment, who don't feel like they are enjoying themselves. They just don't feel it's serving their purpose. It's actually, more of an inconvenience in their life. That's kind of, I want to make people realize that it doesn't have to be. You can go and be yourself, go and try new experiences, have fun, and hopefully find someone and feel like you're not just left at matched. But for me, a big thing in our sort of future plans it's wider, it's eventful, it's to make dating enjoyable and eventful for everyone. And a big thing for me is I love the fact that we are celebrating people's individuality, and we've got sort of very niche communities, and you might be particularly into arts or particularly into a certain thing. And I want people to be able to go on Eventful, no matter age, gender, except whatever it is, and go and find your person and go and have fun on your way to finding your person. So that's kind of how I see it. So yeah, to answer your question, initially Gen Z, sort of millennials, but with a view to look a lot more wide than that.
Oh, that sounds really cool. It's so there are different sort of spaces within the app for different interest groups to sort of chat.
Sure. So yeah, so Eventful as an app is basically the first ever dating app that's actually just really aimed at dating, and you book your dates in the app. And it's got layers of safety features to make you, because you're booking your date in the app, we know where you are, who you're with. It's got those sort of layered extra safety features. You can share those details with you can put in emergency contacts, you can share that. And you kind of sign up to the app knowing that if you are going on a date, that could be shared to the person that you're going on a date. Family, emergency contacts, family, friends, whoever it may be. So it kind of hopefully will stop people going on it for the wrong reasons. But then in terms of what it also is because you have dates in there, it's eventful, fun, different things. You might just want to go for a drinks date, but you also might want to go for a run. You might want to, there's a variety of things of you as a person that I feel like people drop off in dating. You just think, let's go have a drink. Whereas also a lot of the younger generation, I think it's like 33% of people at uni aren't drinking anymore. So they're not drinking. People aren't wanting to go on dates because it's kind of, especially in London, associated with dates as drinking. And what I really see as important, and with what the research says, is you're more likely to make meaningful connections with someone that you have shared interests in. So can you look at finding someone that you've got a shared interest in? So what we do is you match with someone, it will say your interests, and then eventually what we will do in our future versions is have it that you can sort of match based off of your shared interests, and it will show you've got date options that, you both like tennis. So that's kind of the approach, is that then you can find those with your shared interests.
So what is the process? You've had this idea, now you've got to build an app. How
Yes.
do you even get to that point?
Ignorance is bliss, is what I like to say.
We talk about that a lot on this podcast.
Yeah.
How do you get there step by step? So yes, I think there's so many stuff that I would really like to write down. It's luckily I had advisors that I have previously built apps themselves or have been in the startup world. So I think I had a lot of direction there. Whereas, and I think also the benefit that a lot of people have nowadays is YouTube, and there's a lot of details and stuff out there that there previously wasn't, I guess. But I think I have learned, some of the things I did, I think I've come from a place of really understanding a problem and really trying to find a solution that meets that problem. And then with that means it's not necessarily going to be easy. And there are reasons that there's a problem and it's not hard to solve. So, but then in terms of steps, then it was, registering company, going about, for me, it was seeing if this was something that venues and would be interested in. I think for me at first, I was like, instead of having that you can book things in there and you've got the safety features, I really wanted to go and see if venues were happy with that. Would they actually want to support a company that's saying, hey, we're bringing you dates, a couple that don't know each other, it's their first dates. Are you happy you're aware that they're going to be an eventful date? And have you got safety precautions? Do you use things like Ask for Angela? So it was checking that first. And then when I realized that a lot of venues were very interested in doing that, more than happy to also provide offers and incentives for booking through the app. Then I kind of moved to focus. So then I was looking at before that as well, I did focus groups. Was looking at, why aren't women on dating apps as much? Because sort of 70% of people on dating apps are men. Learning about them, the safety issue, which wasn't just for me, it was for others. And then also learning the journey that people are bored, and a lot of the apps keep you in the app because they benefit financially from you staying on your phone, not actually going on a date. I just thought, isn't that crazy? Because you want to go on the app to get off it, surely. So went about it that way, and then started looking at app developers and looking at ways that I could incorporate it, and literally I just build the app really. And then I looked at safety organizations and kind of partners, because a big thing for me is the safety. I really do see that as just my kind of mission is to make dating enjoyable for people, and with that is safety for women. So it's just kind of, how do we encourage women to get on the app? So doing that and then building an app, really. It's been fun.
What have presumably you've also spoken to men, what have male sort of focus groups said about the safety aspect of it?
A lot of them didn't even realize that that's a thing to think about, which I found so interesting. I think a lot of the stuff that I found, I guess a lot of the thing is that it's finding men didn't even realize little things like suggesting somewhere that's nowhere near the girl's been before. How actually, if you think, know her neighborhood, she's mentioned where her neighborhood is, think about a venue that's near where she knows. And little things like, a lot of guys, I think someone was saying that they want to be a gentleman, so they want to pick the girl up on a first date. And I was saying, as a girl, you're a stranger to me, and you want me to get in your car, a stranger that I've never met, that I've got maybe 2 pictures of you, and you've not really put any more pictures. But they're coming at from an angle of, I just want to be nice, but they're not seeing the safety side. So actually, a lot of it was that there was really, really good intent, but not the awareness piece.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on that as a man who's been online dating?
Well, for me, I think there is a real gap between what we understand and what women need and understand, and a bit vice versa. And I'd say for the men out there, we've spent our lives being sort of programmed by the movies and all these other things, with really quite old stories that don't really work in the modern world, such as like knight in shining armor goes to collect his date, in his horse-drawn carriage.
Yeah,
it doesn't work now, but those programmings are still running for men. That's still what we're being told to do by the films, and
and what women do like as well.
Yeah.
What was I like on our first dates, darling?
Very questioning.
Total control freak.
She was a total control. Yes.
Because it was between lockdowns, we had no choices of dating. Like, we didn't go out for a drink together for 6 months because we couldn't. It was like nothing open. So we had socially distanced walks. Like, we'd go on 2-hour walks socially distanced.
These times,
because we couldn't go and have experiences. So but for us, it was brilliant, wasn't it? Because it was November. I was in like a raincoat, my walking boots, my jeans, no makeup particularly, because that was what we had. And Matt got really super annoyed because I kept opening the gates first.
Oh.
Will you let me open a gate, woman? I was fully in my masculine. And then the second date, I was like, no, I don't. We're going to go here. And he's like, are you going to let me plan a date? So I get that, for him it was frustrating because he wanted to be organizing stuff and be in his masculine, whereas I was fully in my masculine going, I'm taking control of all of this.
Yeah. it is interesting as well, because I've spoken to a dating expert who doesn't think walks are a good idea for a first date, because you need to have a bit more of eye contact connection. But I think for a lot of people, I think a lot of, well, my view is, and for a lot of people, it's a lot, it's intense, just sat across from each other.
I was going to say there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah. And even if you're particularly, you as a job, you're a salesperson, you're particularly charismatic, you're good with people, it still is a lot. And it's actually, I think it's an interview. Whereas if you have things that are walking, or it's less pressure. And I think for me, the biggest thing is, how can you get rid of pressure and just allow people to be themselves, because you're going on this date to see if you like them as themselves, not as this fake interview person that they've prepped. And yeah, and I think also dating is a numbers game. Dating, you've got to go through, and I think a lot of women put it on themselves as they'll be going on the date to find Prince Charming and have expectations and tick lists. But actually, if you look at it in when you meet people in real life settings, you don't have those tick lists, and you have those connections, and it's the interests and the stuff that builds. So yeah, interesting to hear about your first date.
I think there is a lot of, as you say, with the checklists and the have tos about dating. People go on the date thinking that the first date really shouldn't be romantic. It's not actually supposed to be romantic. You're supposed to be going to see if you like somebody.
Yes, and I think I think this is another thing which Eventful we really want to focus in is, it's the safety thing, but it's also just the educating both, men, women, LGBT, anybody, on people's views. So I really want, and that's a big thing for us, is getting people's, pulses, exactly how they feel on a date, what they want. And it differs for different people. But I think also just being aware, for example, some guys feel that their date's not been successful if they've not had a kiss at the end of the day, or they've not been somewhat romantic. And it's kind of educating people on, how different people will view that first date, because my goal for Eventful is that both should leave having enjoyed or had a good experience. And what's sad is then, if you push it maybe too far romantically and someone's not interested, then you ruin, and it can be difficult for the party. So it's tough ground. It is tough ground, but it's just that education piece. And I think, especially for universities, and this is why we really want to support universities in just kind of educating the students on how you can make people feel safe. I mean, you've got stats like you've got a lot of dating experts like Matthew Hussey that say, even approaching a girl in the bar, having your feet pointed in is threatening. Having it face out, that is less intimidating for a girl, and a girl's more likely, their natural reaction is just no, and then you walk away and they maybe actually would have been interested. So it's all these little signs that you can be aware of that can help for both people's dating experiences. And I think you should always go into a date hoping that the other person's had a good experience with you, whether or not they want to be with you at the end of the day. But yeah.
I can't remember who it was, but there was a dating coach that I quite liked whose motto for all dates was hang out, have fun. Mm-hmm. And that is the level of expectation you should have of that experience.
Yes.
Hang out, have fun. If you want to do it again, brilliant. Hang out and have fun again.
Yes, exactly that. And that's hopefully our motto too.
So what unexpected challenges did you have in building the app that cropped up and you went, I never thought of that?
Unexpected challenges. I think for me specifically, not necessarily just around dating, but just app development, the time it can take. And also I just had no experience in the tech world. So it was learning about the different kind of like native reactive technologies, also then different servers, hosting servers, and things and costs associated with that. So for me, it was that part, just being, I just was not, just kind of, to me, I was like, okay, build an app. And then there is obviously a lot that goes with building an app. So it was an eye opener. And that I'd say those.
What stage are you at in the process at the moment? Have you got people using it? Where are you?
So we literally launched on the 14th of February.
Oh, amazing.
So,
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you.
The
So
good
we've
day
launched,
to launch a dating app.
We've launched, but we're early days. We've got it live on Apple, just about live on Android, and then we've got people on the wait list as well. We're sifting through. We've got verifications that we want to make sure that we do as well, and we are adding more venues sort of each week is our view, and just kind of I really just want to really make sure that we understand what users are enjoying, what's helpful. And just make sure we've got it right from the focus groups, and just really to tailor. I think that the biggest thing for me, what I've learned in consulting is you might think you know the root cause of the problem and it might be right, but actually users sometimes may not know what they want. So it's just making sure you shift to just what seems to be useful and working. And at the end of the day, our whole mission is making dating fun and enjoyable for people. So how we go about doing that is just really making sure we understand what users are saying and feeling.
Yeah, amazing. We're all about sort of human behavior here at Q Branch. It's sort of 90% of what we do here. And you did that at PwC. How has that informed what you've done with the app?
I think for me, I mean, PwC and just really then understanding and researching people's behavior dating. I think for me it was like learning the difference in men, how men may approach it, how different groups approach dating apps, and just trying to learn about also perceptions of dating apps, and the main pain points can differ for different groups. So I think it was just trying to use all of that and make sure that we're building a product that, you know, men will still want to go on, women will still want to go on, LGBTQ, etc., will want to go on. And I think for me, it's then still doing focus groups to really sure we're making, we're understanding what those groups are, pain points are. But yeah, I think seeing the safety and the ease of going on dates. So different issues. I think you've got the ease of going on dates. A lot of women as well will be annoyed because they'll match with they'll only select a few, and they'll be waiting to be asked on a date. And we're kind of in the standpoint where it's, you know, we're not getting courted as it used to happen, but we're also not everyone is sort of a view of 50-50 splits on things, or, you know, women will still wait for men to ask them on a date. So because you're in that kind of difficult world, and then also some women, you know, would never want a guy to pay for them on a date. So it's very hard because there isn't a black and white situation for dating. So, and that's easier to not make a decision. So that's why with my app is we're just trying to make it really easy and decisive. And to kind of hold people to account as well and say, hey, you've come on this dating app to go on dates. What are you doing? If you're not going on a date, why are you on here? You didn't sign up for a pen pal. We don't want you to sign up for a pen pal. So kind of to, in a witty, joking sort of way, hold people to account to kind of make sure they're looking out for themselves as well.
Do people sign up on a like monthly subscription, or how does that work?
So sure. So it's free at the moment. We are going to add a freemium model. But my view is I want anyone to be able to book a date through the app and have those safety features. That's really important for me, because I would want an 18-year-old girl who's just started university in a scary, daunting place to feel like she can go on an app and she's not just left at match and can share that if she needs to. That's really important to me. But in terms of future view, we will have the option of, you know, more venues, more exciting kind of different features to add. Longer term.
Our audience are sort of founders, entrepreneurs, or sort of wannabe founders, or, you know, they've got an idea, not quite sure what to do with them. Have you always had a plan to monetize this going forward, or did you set out to solve a problem and think, I know I can monetize it later, I'll think about that later once I've solved the problem?
Yes. So, I mean, my view was solve the problem first, see if this is what people want. And I think just really understanding what the issues, especially for female, are, and what can help them have an enjoyable experience. So that was kind of my focus, and to then look at how we can make it that, yes, it's profitable. I think every business should be. Everyone should look to doing that with that in mind. But I think for me, like, just the core foundations is that there is an option that is looking at safety, and that's free at first. But a big thing for me is then the more interesting, exciting, different things to come, then we can attach. Once we really understand what's going to just be that added extra, we can then profit from. But just from the get-go, you've got a model that, so in terms of the dating world, the thing that I got very angry at is learning how people work out what you find attractive. So dating apps benefit from you staying in the app. So there'll be apps that work out that, you know, what your Brad Pitt, what your Angelina Jolie, whatever it is, and go, right, I'm going to take this back from you. And if you pay for these features, you can see them again. And to me, you should be providing people with people that they want to go on a date with, and it shouldn't necessarily be so ego focused or looks focused, but it's you on the dating app for dating. So go on a date and then go enjoy yourself. And then maybe it doesn't work, but that's okay. Go on another date. Maybe you don't want to go on dates. So I think for me, it was more just what I thought dating apps should be for, is aligning that and aligning what users want with the app, basically.
Are you still dating, or have you found somebody, or have you not got time to date because you're building a dating app?
Not so. I was dating at first, and then I don't have time for dating. So I think my issue is I'm focusing way too much. Honestly, the irony. But yeah, no, don't have time for dating at the moment. I think that's something that will be a focus. But for me, I just really want to launch the app. And I feel my view as well is, while I can, if I had spare time, go on dates like I would use my app. I would go on dates, put in a set time, agree to something. Because I think a big thing for me is, you're going on a dating app and you're setting expectations, or you're saying to someone, I will meet you. The idea of ghosting, or not really giving someone your time when you're there, I don't think is a nice thing to do as a person. So I think for me, it's more when you've got the time and it's easier for you to, and this kind of one of the personas is that busy person that it's hard enough for them to respond to their friends, then they can do that. But for me, I mean, it was myself included, and this is what I really wanted to change about myself, is I would I would never not turn up to a date, but I'd stop responding just because, again, didn't really see it as that's just the norm. So I think for me, it was understanding what actually should be the right behaviors, and actually starting to display those behaviors, and not just use apps for the sake of using apps for what they're doing to you, which a lot of apps, social media as well, is just trying to keep you in the app, to not succumb to that, and use things with intent.
Yeah, and I always say, like, the apps, a lot of people look at it as vanity metrics. So they want loads and loads and loads of matches, but that's just not going to get you the right person. That's just going to get you a big head, but nothing else. And I think it's so hard, I think, to be honest with people when you've got there's no buy-in. But I remember I used to have phone call chats with people before I'd meet up with them. And then I'd say, look, you're not really for me. Like, you're really nice. And they were. I said, you're a really nice person. I can tell that you're just not the right fit for me. And every single time the guys would say, thank you so much for being honest. I don't get that very often. And I think that's what we can all learn as women, is that actually the men want to know. They just want to know one way or the other, and vice versa. Yeah. Leaving people hanging is just... And also, if you are the person that's left hanging, it's not about you. It's not a you problem.
It's not. Exactly.
It's a them problem.
So that's why they said, I think the stats, 9% of Gen Zs are frustrated by dating apps because of the ghosting aspects. So for me, that's a big thing, is that shouldn't be the way that you're acting. Like you said, male or female, whatever you may be, you shouldn't be ghosting people. That's not a nice attribute, I guess, to have when you go into dating. And people want to know. So I think for me, it is, as well as go and enjoy the experience. And we want, like you're saying, it's the authentic bit. Go and be yourself. Just go and be yourself and be transparent. And that's a big thing for us as well, as transparency. So some of our pillars is being authentic and not, you want to go and do a quirky date and you've met someone who does as well. Cool. And it shouldn't be an experience that you go in dreading, which a lot of people do, which is crazy to me because this is your free time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I accidentally ghosted somebody and it was a complete accident and I feel terrible, but we'd been talking and then I met Matt and I was like, oh yes, I really like Matt, I'm going to delete all the apps. And I deleted all the apps and I forgot to say to this particular person, I'm sorry, but I've actually met somebody that I think is going to be the right person for me. And I do feel really bad because I know that he will have felt off about like that was a proper ghost for him. So again, if you're being ghosted, sometimes it's just stupid women who delete apps and forget to message you.
But I think again, like you were mentioning around the people who are on it for metrics or for matches and a bit of a boost. To be fair, that's the way the dating apps have been set up. They've been gamified for you to get fireworks for a match, whereas we kind of want to spin it that it shouldn't be fireworks for a match, but you've gone on a date and you've enjoyed it, that's fireworks. You've actually gone out on the date, you've actually put when you're available and you've committed to it, that's fireworks. Like, congrats, like you're actually taking control and you're doing something instead of just moaning maybe that you're not going on dates or people aren't asking you out. You're taking kind of accountability for your actions in dating.
Yeah, it's true. I think most of the apps are gamified to the point where I saw a report that was saying that like 60% of users were literally just using it as a time filler while waiting for a tube, like swipe while I'm waiting. And that's basically what they were using the app for, just to fill time in, while waiting for the tube or a meeting or.
But I think also with the way that they've been set up, social media, etc., has been set up, is everything is available to you at a click of a button what you want. So you're expecting you find that Margot Robbie and it's perfect and they're going to message you nonstop and you're going to meet up and go on a date. Realistically, that's not going to happen. So it's how do you turn it? And I think people should look at things that you shouldn't get instantly what you want. That's not how life's supposed to be. The joy in it should be in the path, the experiences, the trying and meeting new people. But I want it in a way for especially women that it's not a scary, daunting, frightening way path to finding the one.
Hi, so we just wanted to stop the podcast for just a few seconds to introduce you to our HQ community. It's for bold solopreneurs and small business owners who are tired of doing things on their own, because let's face it, success is a team sport.
We've got a great community already together of brilliant people. They are kind, they are interesting, they are knowledgeable, and they are already supporting each other. What we've seen in the group in just the last few weeks has been really incredible. So if you want to join us, it is the place to be.
Find out more and join now. www.qbranch.consulting/HQ. Remember, success is a team sport. Now back to the podcast.
What would your ideal date and person be?
My ideal date and person would be a activity date. That's kind of why we've had a lot of those different ones on the app. I think from first date, did you ask? Sorry. Any date. Okay, I think that would be different. For a first date, at least, I think I would want something that's activity focused, something that I knew that we'd say both had in common or wanted to do. Then, so for example, I'm trying to think, even if it's mini golf or paddle or something, a date like that, and then afterwards a coffee. And ideal person, as in, so person, I would want someone that is polite, respectful, ambitious, and I think for me, humor is a massive thing. So I would want someone that and I think that's also again with the connection, and you go and do something like that, you're more likely to then have your sort of inside jokes and stuff. So I think for me, that would be my ideal first date. And then you have whatever it might be, an activity that's maybe an hour, coffee, half an hour, and it's not too long. And that's kind of the stats as well, is you shouldn't have a first date that's too long. You should always leave wanting to see someone again, and it's not that it's drained you. So yeah, that would be my ideal date.
Was it we went and saw Matt's best friend last week. They just had their first baby. They met online. Was Go 8 their first date or the second date?
Second date. Yeah, I suggested that.
So Matt was very good, suggested Go 8, thought it was a good second date, and they're now married with a baby.
Yes, amazing.
There are people that meet online. I want everybody to really understand that your app sounds amazing, and I think it's great progress in the online dating world. But when you go into it with fear, you block yourself off to the possibility. I knew so many people that had met online and had amazing relationships, so that I didn't go in with that fear. I went in with the knowledge that it's possible. And Matt's friends had all met online. So the three of them all met their partners within about a 3-month circle. And 2 of them have now got babies. We're not having any more babies. Ours are older teens now. But, you know, I really want people to get the message that you can meet online. And if you can use an app like yours where you feel safe as well, and there's that added extra there, don't be afraid of it.
Yeah, no, exactly that. And I think also with the stats is that dating apps are the leading way that people are finding their partner.
Where else do you meet people these days?
Exactly. And I think what's interesting, it's the leading way, and you've got, which rightfully so, the Me Too movement have made men more respectful of approach. Men aren't going up to women as much. Also, people aren't going out as much, clubbing, etc., as they used to, the younger generation. So
they're
yeah,
not in the office as much either.
Not in the office. That's it. I think for me, that's the biggest thing, is they are the loneliest demographic. So they're lonely. They are staying at home, and there are so many fun things that you can do, especially after COVID. People want to try new experiences. That generation do. Sorry if it's a bit loud. That generation do. So why not offer them something at a click of a button? So it's like, kind of hits the, we want something, want it now, but that they can then go and do and enjoy, and they're off their phones. And that's what a lot of people are saying. They want to stop their screen time. But then these apps, the way you find love is telling you to spend 2 hours a week on this to maybe go for an hour date. So that's why I just really want to turn that, and hopefully, kind of like what you were saying, is you will then find that person. And I just want a path where it's more enjoyable experience for everyone, really.
Yeah. And I always say, like, we met both of our ex spouses in normal ways. So we met in a nightclub in the 90s. Oh, and they didn't work out. So there are all sorts of ways of meeting people. And when you said about men being more respectful, it took me back to last Saturday night with my 18-year-old and her best friend. And we walked into this pub, and I saw these 2 guys clock them immediately. And I was like, oh, they're going to be coming over. And they did. And they were a bit of a nightmare. And they were quite a lot older than my kids. And eventually I went, I am their mum, And they sort of went, what? Which was very nice for me, I was like, yeah, hands off. And I really we had to be quite firm with them. And I could see, like, the 2 girls felt so uncomfortable because they were being approached by men that were much older, not of their generation at all. And they were really kind of persistent. And I just think that we think things have moved on, but when I saw that on Saturday, I was like, not that much.
Yeah, well, that's made me think of sort of 2 things. Then is your approach, and that's a big thing. Is that this? I think a big for me as well with Evntful is it isn't the safety layer. That isn't because all men are bad. That's not at all the case. It's if anything, it's because nowadays the respectful men have actually had to go back a step because of this tiny 1% and what they do, and the volume obviously that it will have in the media. So for me, it's how can you make sure that those guys are able to have enjoyable experiences as well. And that's because of teaching and educating people on what should and shouldn't be okay, and how you should be dating and approaching people. And lastly, on your point around then, meeting people at nightclubs and things, completely normal. Look at ways that you grow up, you meet people at school. And again, it's all because of that, there's no pressure, there's no expectation, and you're in the round setting and you have those sort of shared connection in interests. So for me, it's also with the app is it's hoping then that you are finding the right person as well. Like you're bonding over things that you both enjoy. It's not just that you both were drunk and it's you both find each other attractive, and then you from butterflies it stems into this long relationship that was never meant to work out. But you're actually going in saying, these are my interests, this is what I want out of life, this is me as a person, what's you as a person, as opposed to just, oh, I think you're attractive, let's go for a drink, oh, what's going to happen. I just think it's more likely to lead to a longer term thing and people to have longer term enjoyment.
I agree. And I'm also, as you know, I'm really passionate about healthy dating, really passionate about it. So I love all this. This is like really in my wheelhouse. But also, just because you have the same hobby and you like the same things doesn't also necessarily mean it's going to be a great relationship. So I want people to also think about that just because you found this person in your hobby does not mean the same. You have the same values, you have the same 5-year plan, you have the same aspirations for anything. And those are the things that we need to be open to asking those questions really early on. Do you want kids? Do you want to get married at some point? Don't worry about the fact that it's your first date and all that might scare them off. So what? If it scares them off, it scares them off. Brilliant.
Yeah, no, exactly that. And while the stats say that you're more likely to stay married to those that you've got a shared interest, exactly that doesn't mean that just because you both play tennis, you're both a match made in heaven. Not at all. No pun intended. But what it does mean is that you are hopefully, thank you. What it does mean is that you're hopefully more likely to enjoy that experience and more naturally have these conversations, as opposed to an awkward encounter that you then, throw away that person because it was an awkward coffee or an awkward chat and you just didn't really want to sit and chat and that day. And actually, it might give you more of you're able to sort of be more in your comfort zone and then have those conversations and have your guard down, I guess. I think for me, it's more the narrative is trying to encourage people to see beyond just these profiles and actually like try and really understand that person. That's a person you're going on a date with, and maybe they aren't right or maybe for you, but go and have fun and really enjoy whatever it is that you're connecting and doing in that moment. That's kind of the focus.
Yeah, it's great. And I think I think there are a lot of guys out there, going back to something you were saying a minute ago, particularly the ones with good intentions, who are incredibly confused right now about how they should approach or start things off or behave. And I think, an app that prioritizes safety and all those things is a great move forward in giving guys some confidence in, how people want to be interacted with. And
and it's interesting you say that, because talking to a lot of sort of my girlfriends, they're saying, we want to go on your app because we want to find those right men that we don't find at the nightclub, because a lot of my friends will have those guys that come up to them all the time at nightclubs, all the time in bars, and it's that, and the saying is, those that come up to you, that it's practice, you're not special. It's it's something they'll do to everyone and most girls. So you end up then, a lot of girls will then stay with that guy that came up to them, but it wasn't, like you said, match made in heaven. And actually the person that's perfect for them would never go up to them in that way and be disrespectful. So it's then teaching women as well, look, those guys that you're after, they're here, they're trying to be respectful, they know that they want you to feel safe. That's a big thing for men as well. And they want to do something that they know you want to do, because that's another thing, speaking to guys in the focus groups, is one of the guys went into detail saying how if they really liked a girl on the second date, they wouldn't want to seem that they've gone over and above and they've been too much by booking like something that she mentioned she wanted to do. Whereas if it was really easy to do, then you kind of, it's a nice way to then go into your third, fourth dates and things like that.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So you've told us loads already, but I'm keen to narrow it down a little bit. So in a market that is really saturated with some massive players,
yes,
how does Evntful stand out?
So I think Evntful stands out because you book your dates in the app. So you've had those dating apps that you can go to singles events. And again, for me, going to singles events, while I think it's good to have them as an option, as a female, you go to singles events, anyone can turn up. They may have not matched with anyone. You've got people that their ambition is that they need to have pulled someone by the end of the night. So they're following girls into taxis. It's not a safe environment. Eventful, you book with your date that you've accepted you want to go on a date, and you can book that in the app, and you can send that to your emergency contacts. And yeah, we've got those safety features, and we've got fun different venues that again are vetted venues that are aware. We've got offers as well, discounts to sort of benefit you from going on those dates. And again, it's just helping you. It's a tool that's going to make you be more decisive. I like to think as we're kind of your dating admin, all the stuff that you don't want to do.
Brilliant. Love it.
It's London based at the moment, but what is your vision for the future?
Yes, so it's London based, and our plan is to then expand. I think as well as we just want to get a real view of geographically just in London, all those different kind of things. Also from the data, I just would love to see what people want to be doing. There's stats out there, but what are people enjoying doing on dates, feedback as well. And then, yeah, the view is then to expand.
Yeah, it's brilliant. You can absolutely tell that you spent time in a consultancy, because you're not guessing anything. You're focus grouping, you're looking at the data, you're interested in the reality of the situation, not going, well, I'm sure that this is how people feel and what they're doing. It's really good.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for me, it might be that, even if it is the small group of people that, I don't know, particularly like art and would be terrified to sit and have drinks across with someone, if I can just get them to go out to say and meet and go and do something together and enjoy dating, that's just what I would love. And hopefully as well in this is educating people on how you can date safer, best things to do, and to just make women enjoy dating, go on more dates, and to help those that mean well.
Is there anything else you want to tell us about the app?
No, just that it's live, and it'd be great to have people give feedback, what's working well. And yeah, our plan is then once we've got enough sign-ups and a real idea of where we kind of want to take it going forward. I think for me, it's then just seeing what kind of features. I've got all these views of things to add, but just really want to see what's working, like you said, the consultant background. And then, going to then go to investment.
Great. We'll put a link to the app down below in the show notes. So scroll down and click the link if you want to get on Eventful. So for aspiring entrepreneurs out there who not even in the dating scene, but are thinking about developing an app, what's your big tips?
Make sure you do your research, get an advisor. I think definitely get some advisors who've been in that space, because there'll be things that you just don't even, as in life, you don't know what you don't know. So you can plan. I'm a planner by heart. I'm a person that has a spreadsheet for a holiday, and the amount of things that cropped up, you won't know. So it's getting advisors, people in that space, and just being careful and committed, and just really trust in yourself. I think, if you've got a good idea that stems from a good place, I just don't see why you wouldn't be able to do it if you've set your mind to it.
You have a purpose and you have a mission, and you've got all the tools. And if you don't, you know who to look for. So I think it's brilliant. I'm really excited to see how the business grows from very early stages, but I think it's fantastic. And I'm very passionate about online dating, but mostly healthy dating, because I think it's possible.
And that's what we want to add, is more tips on healthy dating. And like you were saying, is, making sure you find the right one as well. It's not just all the sparks and the attraction physically. So yeah.
Oh yeah, we don't do sparks. Don't do sparks at this end of the table. We always say spark is anxiety, and people go, what? Right.
Sparks telling you to run. Saying sparks are telling you to run.
Exactly. A nice warm glow is good, but sparks are their anxiety. It's Matt's favourite time of the show.
Yep, I get to do my Radio 4 bit and ask, Tegan, can you give us your top book, top piece of music, and top tool or framework that's inspired you that you'd like to share with our listeners and viewers?
So, top book is probably The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, I just think it's so great to, especially because I'm a bit of a control freak and I'm a planner, is accepting and just moving on and not letting that kind of control you. What was the other one? Top book, top
Music.
Top music. Oh, this is a good one. Top music. I love Ben Howard. Ben Howard has always been some of my favorite music growing up. So him as an artist, I'd say. And then top framework. I think top framework, but I've got this frame. Oh, yeah. Sorry, it was. You guys were very still. Top framework. It's called. So I love the frame, which is about if you've got a team and you want the team to excel. Is you would go through and set all your project goals, ambitions, and a big thing for me is non-negotiables. And this is what I've learned from consulting: is you say to the team, "Look, what's your one thing that I need to know, and then what's your working style so you know how they work." But the non-negotiable for me is something that we always say: if you go to a client site and they were to mark you 7 out of 10, how do you get 10 out of 10? And you've done everything. And it might be that they say, we would have loved it if we had coffees every morning, or actually if we had the Friday off at 4, because I think people mean well. And if you give someone off a Friday at 4, they'll put extra effort in on Monday. So I think for me, just knowing how to really work with people and make sure that people are enjoying their project as well. So that would be for me my favorite framework.
I love that.
Yeah, it's really good.
That's awesome. And somebody who's studied human behavior, perfect answer.
Thank you. Imagine if I didn't pick something to do with that.
Oh, you could have picked anything. We don't mind. It's been so lovely to get our diaries together. We've been trying for a while, haven't we, Tegan?
Yes, it worked.
Between the two
it
of us
worked.
again. It did, and it was been really great talking to you. So
yeah, really great.
You too.
Thank you, and we'll watch the progress with interest. So it's exciting to see.
I love all the purple. I love how we're wearing purple.
We are all very in our love colours today.
Yes, very eventful as well.
Excellent.
Perfect.
Well, lovely to see you, and thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Oh, Jenny, your life's just one big drama. This was what my auntie said to me, and it inspired me to put all my dramas in one book. So if your life is full of drama, and I believe everyone's life is full of drama, this is the book with real stories, real struggles, real tools to navigate real life.